he ever wears are jeans and work shirts.
Wow. This is beautiful. What kind of wood is this?
It's American cherry. Jake made it. Like I said, he's more than just a carpenter. He's an artist. I hope the baby takes after him.
Wow. He's really great looking.
Yeah.
Level with me, Miss Thorpe, woman to woman. Did he split? Fear of fatherhood?
No way. That's not Jake at all. No one's heard from him. No one. His family in Vermont, no one.
Oh, calm down. It's only been 3 days.
No one knows where he is.
Oh! Are you all right? Oh! Is the baby coming? Are you having contractions?
I guess so. I don't know. I've never done this before.
Okay.
Oh! Can you give me a cab or an ambulance? Oh! Hey, whoa!
Wait a second. I've got a siren. So exciting and scary and wonderful, and then nothing happened.
Good morning.
Hey, Bobby, I almost had a baby last night.
Really? A boy or a girl?
Not me, this lady in the backseat of my squad car. She didn't have the baby, but they're keeping her at the hospital anyway. Something about the need to monitor the fetus or something like that.
I believe I read somewhere that there were 16 babies born in squad cars last year.
Who had a baby in their squad car?
Connie did.
Dan, Lauren Bacall, line 2.
What, Bogey didn't get home last night?
I better go find out.
You find the expectant father?
I never finished the preliminary. The mom went into labor, but I'm on my way to the hospital now.
Carlos. Frank Blackburn, 50, white male, traveling salesman.
Oh. So all I have to do is find the farmer's daughter.
Left on a business trip. No one's heard from him in 2 weeks. Wife Pamela reported it. They live in a condo near Northside.
Lieutenant, I think we might have a problem here. Miss Bacall said Bogey never came home last night. She hasn't seen him now since yesterday morning.
He didn't call you yesterday?
No, he did not.
What in the world are y'all talking about?
It's one of our regulars, Robert.
Lauren Bacall.
Mm-hmm.
Fill him in, Dan. After he does, take a ride over there. Maybe something really is wrong this time.
I hope not.
Lauren Bacall?
Come with me.
Isn't Humphrey Bogart dead, man?
I didn't expect to see you this morning.
You heard?
Well, unfortunately, news like that travels through the department real quick. Your dad's not the most popular man on the planet.
My dad's a lot of things, Lieutenant, but he's not a bad cop.
I know that, Johnny. I've known him a long time.
It's not fair, Lieutenant. The man gets shot in the line of duty, almost dies, weeks of recovery, now this.
Hey, Internal Affairs Division has to investigate every complaint against an officer.
So they take the word of a sleazeball with a rap sheet as long as your arm over the word of a sergeant with 34 years of spotless service?
Oh, what I heard was that this guy, what's his name? Peter Nixon, turned himself in. Claims your father was shaking him down. He
Shaking
shot
him down was a routine traffic stop. 2 guys get out of the car, they took my father's gun, one of them shot him.
How's the old man taking it?
He's in shock. He could lose his pension, get thrown off the force. 34 years of his life, they walk into his house last night, treat him like a criminal.
That's the way it is. We arrest a citizen, he's innocent till proven guilty. With us, we're guilty till proven innocent. They'll clear him. You want the rest of the day off? Follow-ups. Keep you busy.
Hi. I was looking for Tamar Thorpe.
They just took her for some tests, but she should be back pretty soon.
Is it a boy? No. Oh. She's really precious.
Is this Tamara Thorpe's room? Yeah, she should be back soon if you want to wait.
Are you guys friends of Tamara's?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Investigator Karadzic, Chicago Police Department, Missing Persons Section.
Eric Forrest, this is my wife, Sherry. We're neighbors of Tamara. You're a police officer. Is there some kind of problem?
Tamara reported her boyfriend, Jake Howard, missing.
She called the police?
She's really worried about him. You two mind if I ask you when the last time you saw him was?
We never met him.
Oh, I thought you said you were neighbors.
We are, but we only moved in 4 months ago. Jake was gone by then.
Oh, sure. Oh, if you'd only been there 4 months, then you wouldn't have known him, would you?
I can't believe she still wants to find him. I mean, the guy gets her pregnant and then leaves. Real nice person.
He didn't even leave her any money to help pay for this. Tammy gives piano lessons. She can barely support herself, let alone a baby.
Maybe her family will help her out.
Yeah, right. They don't even know she's pregnant. She comes from a town about this big. Single parenthood isn't quite accepted there. She has this fantasy that Jake will come back, they'll get married, and everything will be okay.
We keep trying to tell her that the guy walked out on her once before. Even if he does come back, what's to stop him from doing it again? The kid's not glue. That's not going to fix the problem.
So what'd she do if he doesn't come back?
We recommended a terrific adoption lawyer who's already found an excellent family.
It's sad, but it's really the best thing for both her and the baby.
Yeah.
Sergeant, that's the most recent shot I could find of Frank. We don't take a lot of pictures. I'd offer you something, but I'm sure you'd just tell me that you're on duty or some such thing. I don't usually do this myself so early in the day, but under the circumstances.
F&S Dry Goods, what kind of merchandise does your husband represent?
He jobs a line of women's clothing.
My wife would be in heaven if I sold women's clothing.
Well, fortunately, he earns enough money that I can afford to buy the kind of clothing I would rather wear.
It must be tough being married to somebody who's on the road all the time.
I enjoy my privacy. I suppose that's one of the reasons this marriage has lasted 20-some-odd years.
Can I just ask, why, if your husband's been missing 2 weeks, it took you until yesterday to report it?
It's not like we talk every day when he's gone. Sometimes we don't talk for a week or more. It's not uncommon for him to be a day or so late coming home. But when he was 4 days overdue, I started calling all of the places he was supposed to have been. And then I found out that no one had seen him for 2 weeks, so I called.
Okay, you called his office, all the hotels and motels he usually stays in, several of his customers. Did you try calling any of his friends, family?
He has me, I have him. There's no one else.
Hi, I'm Investigator Davison, Chicago Police Department's Missing Persons Section. I was given this address as the place where Miss Lily Bronitz lives.
Yes, you've got the right place. The Brownies live upstairs. Follow me.
Is Mrs. Bronitz a little,
Not really. She's an actress. Just gets a little carried away sometimes.
like how?
Well, she likes to dress up, play roles, you know what I mean? You know something? Wish my wife would do that for me once in a while.
What would you want her to dress up as? I mean, it's cool with me. I was just wondering, you know.
Miss Bacall, your policeman's here. This is Investigator Davison.
I'm Lily Bronis. I'm so glad you're here. Please, come in. Please sit down.
Thank you.
Any word of my husband?
I'm afraid not, ma'am. Investigator Manaher said it's not unusual for your husband to go away for a night or two.
But Bert always at least gets a message to me. This isn't at all like him.
Do you have a photograph of Mr. Bronitz?
Oh, yes. This is my Bert. Still handsome as ever.
This game that Investigator Manaher mentioned, can you tell me a little more about it, ma'am?
Bert and I have been play acting for years. I become a famous film star, and Bert plays my leading man. We act out scenes from movies we love. It brings a certain spark to our marriage.
Did something different happen this time?
No. Bert's become gradually disenchanted with the charade. I don't know. Maybe I did go too far. He wanted to stop playing. But like a temperamental film star, I had to have my way. I refused to break character. He said, "Damn it, Lily. You're getting on my nerves."
Do you remember what your husband was wearing when he left?
What he always wears, a black coat, white silk scarf, and a red beret.
All I want is 5 minutes with the guy, man. I want to show him what it's like to lie about a Sandowski.
Oh, yeah, right, Michael. That'll do us all a lot of good.
It'll do me a lot of good. Hey, why don't we think about what's gonna do Dad the most good, huh? Okay, guys? Now, what I think we ought to start doing is pulling in every IOU we got out there. We need every favor from every person in this department. That's the way these things work, Johnny. Favors, politics. We gotta be sure that anybody sitting on the fence that's gonna make a decision is gonna lean on Dad's side.
How about we just get out there and prove he didn't do it? We're cops, not politicians. Let's just handle this like cops. There's gotta be some way of finding out something about this Nixon guy to show he's lying.
When did you become a cop? I thought you worked in Lost and Found.
Johnny, I got a little advice for the three of you. Just let the internal affairs investigation run its course. If it goes the wrong way, there's a lot of levels of appeals. That's when you can help your dad out the most. And you know what it means, gentlemen, when a lieutenant gives you a piece of advice? It means it's an order.
Ray, can I talk to you for a minute?
When I get back. Carlos, the credit card activity reports in your traveling salesman. Seems the only transaction on any of them in the last 2 weeks was to reserve a motel room in Des Moines, Iowa. But there were no charges, so obviously you changed travel plans and canceled reservations within the prescribed grace period.
Maybe his route got changed or something.
Would you like me to check with his employer?
No, thanks, Dan. Think I better do that myself.
What's he claiming Sandowski was trying to do?
His name's Pete Nixon. Guy's got 14 counts of burglary against him. He's out on an appeals bond. You know, traffic ticket might have put him back inside. Says Sandowski knew him, which Sandowski denies. Told us when Sandowski pulled him over, he stuck his gun in his face and gave him 3 choices. Pay him off, go back to prison, or die right there. Claims that purely out of fear, he grabbed Sandowski's gun, wrestled with him for it. It went off, Sandowski hit the pavement, Nixon ran.
Don't tell me you're buying this, Hackle.
Tell you something. If the guy had just pulled off a job, I wouldn't buy it for a second. But we checked citywide. There was nothing with his M.O. anywhere that night. Besides, if he wasn't telling the truth, what'd he have to gain by turning himself in?
How long would he stay out? There was a composite drawing of him that looked like a snapshot on the front page of every newspaper in town. So he hooks himself up with a smart lawyer, points a finger at a cop, plays the victim. He's got a whole lot to gain.
Nixon claims he was leaving his girlfriend's house and on his way home. Now, if it checks out, what reason does he have to shoot a cop who stops him? And why does he have a buddy with him in the car?
Sandowski said there were 2 of them in the car?
Yeah. You think Sandowski would ever admit one guy could take him? I don't believe there was another guy.
You know, it would have been a lot better if you'd just been straight with me from the get-go. Jake's what we call a voluntary, and that's about as low a priority as it gets in my job. You add that to the fact that you lied to me, my lieutenant's gonna say next case.
My parents were right. They said I'd never make it in the city. I've made a mess of my whole life.
You're just scared. Having a baby's really scary.
If Jake would just come back, I know that we could work it out. He'd help me with the baby. I don't know if I can do this by myself.
You know, did you ever think that maybe you picked the wrong guy? He walked out on you. What makes you think that he even wants to come back? Believe me, I can tell you about picking the wrong guys. I'm an expert in that category.
Jake's not the wrong guy. And he would come back if he knew about the baby.
He doesn't know.
He can't understand what we were going through. Jake hated Chicago. Said the big city was just a place people got lost in. The only reason why he came was because he couldn't make a living in Vermont and he couldn't wait to get back. I came for a whole different reason. My dreams didn't exist in Boonville, Missouri. I'm so scared. I don't want to give my baby up to strangers, but without Jake, I don't have a choice. Please, find Jake, Miss Karatzik.
Riverside Inn, best place to rest in Des Moines. Can I help you? Frank Blackburn? Doesn't ring a bell.
According to Mr. Blackburn's credit card records, he reserved a room at your establishment on the 9th of this month. Do you have any record of that?
Not Frank Blackburn. You're talking about Phil Blackburn. He's a regular here, comes in here all the time. But his name is Phil, not Frank.
Well, I'm sure there are a lot of Blackburns around, but I'm looking for a Frank Blackburn.
Frank is Phil's brother. I remember now. It was really funny. Mr. Blackburn was so flustered. He checked in. I gave him his credit card receipt to sign. He took one look at it and did one of those double takes. Said he'd been out to dinner with his brother a couple of nights ago. They'd done one of those split the check things with credit card. He ended up with his brother's credit card.
How long has Phil Blackburn been a patron of your establishment? 10 years. No kidding.
Look, Mom, it's very important that we keep your spirits up.
I can't really discuss that now, Johnny.
Could Dad hear you?
Yeah.
You want me to talk to him?
Yes. Honey, Johnny wants to say hello to you.
You say hello for me.
It's your son, Kaz.
I can't. I can't.
Robert. Robert, tell me about her.
Tell you what.
Mrs. Brownitz. I've been listening to her voice for years. What does she look like?
What she look like? She looks like a movie star. Want me to go get an autograph for you next time I go? You find anything out on the hotel front?
No. Mr. Brownitz hasn't checked in at any of the regular places.
I go to interview this Pamela Blackburn. Talk about a cold fish. This one's right out of the frozen food section. She lies to me up and down. First of all, I called his boss and find out the guy quit his job 2 weeks ago. And that she knew it because she'd called. She also told me that he doesn't have any family. But because of a credit card mix-up, I find out he's got a brother. Also a salesman, but this guy sells toys.
Sounds like the guy dumped his wife and split. You talked to the brother yet?
Well, I got an address and a phone number up in Park Ridge. So far, no answer, but I figure I'll take a ride up there, show the picture around, and, you know, talk to the neighbors anyway.
Okay, ma'am, here's the file. Jake Howarth. Oh, yeah, a real craftsman. You'd have thought he was from Europe or someplace.
When was the last time you worked?
Hardly ever worked. Hasn't worked in a long time.
Well, where was his last job?
Here's one worth trying. Did some restoration work at a mansion in Wicker Park. Finished up about 5 months ago, but it was there off and on for over a year. Some people named Samuels. Direct call-in. No contractor involved.
Investigator Manaher and I are covering every base, man. Right, as soon as one of us hears anything, we'll contact you.
Where'd you find Bert? Tell him I'm done playing games. He doesn't have to be Bogey or Clark Gable or David Niven or anybody but Bert ever again.
Of course, Mrs. Brownings, we will. Goodbye.
Internal Affairs Division corroborated Nixon's story. They decided my dad's lying. They're gonna charge him.
Who's corroborated what? What do they got?
They won't say. Until my dad's formally charged and gets a lawyer, they won't turn over any of their evidence. Lieutenant, you know where every skeleton is in every closet in this entire department. I know you do. I need some help.
Well, let me see what I can find out.
That makes no sense at all. Jake would never do anything like that to Tamara.
You know Tamara Thorpe?
Oh, yes, I introduced them. They fell in love right here. Tamara was teaching my daughter piano, and Jake was doing some restoration work for us. It was terribly romantic. Tamara sat here, and Jake was working over here. Well, first, I noticed him smiling at her, and then Tamara gazing back at him. Pretty soon they were having lunches in the garden.
When was that?
More than a year ago. Then Jake's work was finished. Tamara taught Kimberly till she went off to school. But everything seemed all right when Tamara and I last spoke.
Did Jake ever contact you for references or anything like that?
No, but I would have gladly obliged. He's a gentleman, and he's a true artist. Before we bought this place, there had been a fire. We hired Jake to replace an entire section of the banister.
It's gorgeous.
Look, this was crafted 100 years ago, and this was carved by Jake Howarth. It's a perfect match, just like he and Tamara.
Wow. I can't tell what's old and what's new.
Oh, that's because he used exactly the same kind of oak as the original. He was so excited when he found this wonderful little shop that specialized in exotic lumber. He was able to hand select each piece. I've never seen anyone so passionate about wood.
You know, my brother and my dad are plumbers, and when they buy special materials, they usually pass along their invoices to their clients. Do you keep any of the invoices from Jake's work?
Oh, yes, I have them all.
Mrs. Blackburn? Sergeant Marone, Chicago Police Department Missing Persons Section.
Chicago Police. Is anything wrong?
Well, I hope not, but your sister-in-law, Pamela Blackburn, has reported your brother-in-law, Frank Blackburn, missing.
You kids start getting the groceries out of the car, okay? I don't have a sister-in-law, Pamela, or a brother-in-law named Frank. I think you have the wrong Blackburn.
Is your husband's name Phil Blackburn? Well, I suppose it could be a mistake, but on the off chance, do you recognize this man?
What, is this some kind of a joke? That's my husband's picture.
You know what? Things like this happen all the time, Mrs. Blackburn. There are some people irresponsible enough to use the police department to try pulling off practical jokes. Listen, could you just ask your husband to call me at this number? I'm sure we can straighten this out in minutes.
Okay, guys. Here's what Hackle's saying. Nixon is out on an appeals bond. He jaywalks. He goes back to prison. Why would he shoot a cop? One reason would be that the cop caught him with evidence of a crime. But during the entire 24-hour period preceding the shooting, there wasn't one burglary that fit Nixon's MO. And they've got a signed affidavit from his girlfriend that he spent the night with her, and that he left just 10 minutes before the shooting. So in Hackle's very small mind, what he jumps to is that Nixon must be telling the truth, and your dad must have been shaking him down.
If he's on his way home from his girlfriend's, what's he doing with another guy in the car?
Hackle ain't buying the second guy in the car theory, but let's just say I am. You tell me.
Maybe if they weren't on their way home from pulling a job, maybe they were on their way to pulling a job.
Yeah, Nixon panics when Dad stops him because they don't...
You guys start going through every watch commander's report for that day. Find a crime that took place after the shooting that fits Nixon's MO. We might not only get a motive for why he shot your dad, but we might also get a witness, the other guy in the car.
Thanks.
Investigator Karatsik, Chicago Police Department.
Nancy. Plumbers, yes? Ukrainian village?
You know my family?
No, but I know all the quality companies in the building trade.
Thank you.
Oh, I am Gunter. Gunter Foster.
Okay.
Now, how may I help you, my pretty lady?
I was trying to find one of your customers, Jake Howarth.
Oh, Jake. Oh, yeah. Now, he knows beauty. Now, these others, if it were not for the recession, I wouldn't let him into my shop.
Lady in Wicker Park said that Jake bought some wood here a while back. Have you seen him recently?
Oh, yeah, the aged oak for Mrs. Samuels Bannister. Oh, yeah. He was in here a week ago.
He was?
Oh, yeah, he comes in once a month. He buys a butternut cherry, some ash. Yeah. and he selects each piece separately with such care. You know, I think he's starting a business up there.
Up where?
He's working as a caretaker at the Lakota Lodge in Menominee, Wisconsin.
Do you happen to have his phone number?
Oh, no, the lodge is closed for the winter. But he'll be back in 3 or 4 weeks.
Sergeant Marone? Sergeant Marone?
That's me.
I'm Phil Blackburn. You spoke with my wife this afternoon.
Starting to get the feeling I spoke with both of your wives today, didn't I?
I'm afraid so.
I think we better go talk to the lieutenant. Thanks, Dan.
Dad, look, I gotta tell you, man, I'm getting nowhere fast on this Burt Bronick case, all right? I checked the morgue, the hospital, victims list, Zippo.
Well, you know something, Robert? This particular case, I'm not really sure I want to hear all the gory details.
Do I detect a hint that Dan, the man of steel, is letting it all hang out here?
I will admit to being more personally involved than I normally allow myself.
Well, Dan, I have an idea that might speed up the process a little bit. What if we were to put Bert's license plate number on the hot sheet?
Can you report he's stolen? That'd be...
Well, it'd be like breaking the rules.
I could not do that, Robert.
Right. Me neither, man.
Why didn't you just divorce your first wife if it was such a loveless marriage?
I couldn't. I didn't love her, but I owe her.
Over what, Mr. Blackburn?
Pamela was a trauma nurse at a hospital in Saigon. I was brought in with a spinal injury. They said that I'd never have the use of my limbs again, and if it wasn't for Pamela, I wouldn't. She wouldn't give up, and she wouldn't let me either. I owe her my life.
I gotta tell you, that doesn't sound like the person I met at your apartment this morning.
It wasn't. She's not the same anymore. When we came home, she cracked. She just went into overload. It was like she only had so much emotion for her whole life, and she had used it up. I tried to get her into therapy. She fought it. She said she just didn't want to feel anything anymore. And then the drinking started. I begged her. I begged her to get some help, but she'd just scream at me, "Why do I have to feel if I don't want to?" So you know what my solution was? I got a job out on the road so that I didn't have to be there to see her like that. The longer I was out on the road, the more I realized that I didn't want to go back. But how do you leave the person that saved your life?
Mr. Blackburn, bigamy's against the law.
Well, it wasn't what I planned on doing. To tell you the truth, I never thought of it as bigamy. I mean, it wasn't like I had 2 marriages. Pamela and I shared was not a marriage. My life with Cynthia was, well, that's what a marriage is supposed to be. Love, understanding, a family. And nobody was getting hurt. I worked 2 full-time jobs. One to support Pamela and the other to support my family.
So it was getting to be too much for you, right? You needed to abandon one of them.
No, I didn't really abandon anybody. Pamela doesn't need me. All she needs is the apartment, the clothing, the money, the liquor, and I provided all that. I paid off the mortgage, and I left her enough money for the rest of her life. That was all spelled out in the letter.
What letter?
I sent Pamela a letter a week ago. I told her everything.
I have to tell you, Mr. Blackburn, the way you dealt with the situation is irrelevant. Laws have been broken here, and we have to deal with that. If this was a normal case, all we'd have to do is tell the person who reported you missing that we found you and that you're okay. But you've admitted to a crime, and we're obligated to inform the injured party. If she decides to file criminal charges, we'll also be obligated to surrender your address.
And Cynthia and my kids would know everything. That'd be the end of my family. I think I better go talk to Pamela.
Excuse me, Lieutenant, we found him. I can't believe Hackle didn't discover this.
Do you understand, Johnny? The man wasn't looking.
Not only was there a burglary, so earmarked as a Nixon job, an hour after he shot my father, but a guy he did time with just happens to live a block away from the girlfriend.
There's a 72-hour waiting period after the birth. I'll come back then for your signature. That will finalize the adoption.
Hi. You doing okay? I brought you some icy mints. When my cousin had her baby, she said her mouth got so dry with the breathing and everything.
The lawyer said that the people who are gonna adopt my baby are real nice. They have a big house in the suburbs, a yard.
Tamara, I know you're going through a lot right now, and I don't want to get your hopes up, but I found out that Jake was in Chicago last week.
Where is he?
I don't know for sure, but I think I'm getting closer.
What if you find him and he doesn't want to come back?
He might not, but we have to know for sure, don't you think? Here, let me unwrap one of these for you. It's really good.
Look, the worst thing that can happen this afternoon is I owe you one. Best thing is we could give these 3 kids back the pride they had in their father.
Oh, give me a break, McAuliffe. The only reason I'm out here is because you asked me for a favor. Clearing Sandowski is real low on my wish list. And you scratch his 3 sons from the race and he won't run last in any popularity contest.
You know him, Hackle?
No, just by reputation.
Ah, so based on third-hand information, you've decided to condemn the man. Nice to know we have such an open-minded person in your position. You know Lieutenant Hackle?
We've had the pleasure. He's in his room. The desk clerk says he usually goes out around this time of day, but he's in there right now.
Let's go.
There he is.
You! Come here! Yeah, you. Don't move, Richie. Stop. Stay right there. Come here, come here, come here, come here. Do it. Spread him out. Down. Turn around.
Hey, Richie, you know me? You're kidding. I must be the only cop in Chicago that's never arrested you. Counting, Richie? 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 patrolmen, 1 detective, 2 lieutenants. Make you feel important, Richie? Maybe more important than you want to feel? Do you have any idea why we're making you feel so important?
No.
Peter Nixon. You can thank him for bringing your name to our attention.
Peter Nixon. Who's Peter Nixon?
All right. You 2 shared a cell for 2 years at Joliet, but I guess you never introduced yourselves. I got a question for you, Richie. How come a really good burglar like you does something stupid like shoots a cop?
Nixon told you that? I didn't shoot nobody.
Right. I suppose you're even going to deny you were in the car.
I was in the car, but I didn't shoot nobody.
It's all yours.
Call for a warrant, but search his room.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
Are you back, or did you just work up the nerve to finally tell me what you should have told me before, in person?
No, I'm not back, Pamela. It took me nearly 20 years to write that letter, but it was an easy decision coming here tonight.
Well, you were stupid to write that letter, Frank. If you think I won't use that confession against you, you're crazy.
Fine, Pamela. Use it. Do whatever you want. I just want you to know something. For the past 23 years, I've tried to thank you. I've tried to be grateful to you. I tried to help you. I tried to love you, even. All I ever wanted was a little of that love back, and you wouldn't give it. So I found it somewhere else, and I'm gonna fight to keep it.
What am I supposed to do now, Frank?
Cry? Laugh? Scream? Feel something.
I don't want to feel.
And there's no reason for me to be here.
Sergeant Marone, I believe we have some legal business to discuss.
God, what that poor kid's family has been through in the last couple of weeks. I'm really glad it ended up okay.
I wasn't sure it was gonna.
Why? Do you think the charges were gonna stick?
It wouldn't have made any difference one way or another. You know how ugly these things can be? You know what it can do to a person? There was a moment when Johnny walked into my office this morning, the look on his face, I thought he was going to slam his star on my desk and give it all up.
Oh, you would have talked him out of that.
No. If you don't believe in what you're doing, you don't believe in what you're doing. No one can talk you out of that. There's always going to be a question.
Well, thanks to you, it didn't get that far. You expecting somebody?
No.
Lieutenant, I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't bother you and Mrs. McAuliffe at home like this, but I needed to talk to you face to face.
That's okay, Connie.
I think I located this Jake Howarth guy, and now I'm kind of getting cold feet about what to do about it.
Why?
There's just like a lot at stake here. What I do now is going to affect 3 people's lives on a permanent basis, including a baby that's either going to end up with its mother or gets adopted, and it's all on my shoulders.
No, it's not, Connie. What you're supposed to do is real simple. You know where the guy is, you talk to him, tell him somebody's looking for him, case closed. You walk. You're not going to make any decisions for anybody.
What am I supposed to tell this guy? Unless I tell him that he's having a baby, if he doesn't know and he doesn't come back, then that's really wrong. And then if he does know and he doesn't come back because I told him, what do I tell her?
It's funny, isn't it? Sometimes you know you're the only person in the world who can help someone. I mean, the only one who can really make a difference. Hurry.
I'm sorry, the door was open.
You don't have much need for locks around here.
These chairs are beautiful.
I make them myself. The lodge doesn't open till spring. Do you need some help? Or?
No. I'm Investigator Karadzic, Chicago Police Department Missing Persons Section. You, Jake Howard?
Yeah?
I'm following up a missing persons report on you.
I'm not missing?
Yeah, somebody's been looking for you, though, and now that I found you, I can tell her that you're okay.
Tomorrow?
Yeah. But don't worry, if you don't want her to know where you are, I don't have to tell her.
She's looking for me? And here I'm trying to stay out of her way. How's she doing?
She's okay. She misses you.
I miss her. I miss her music. She play Orchestra Hall yet?
Not yet. I've been talking to some people. Seems like you two make a pretty good couple.
Yeah, we were. Wish we could have made it. But I didn't want to stand in the way of her dreams.
She wants to see you.
Wouldn't be fair. You shouldn't make a person choose between you and their dreams.
Your dreams?
No, I'm talking about her dreams. That's why I left. I couldn't make her choose between me and all the things she wants to do.
What are you gonna do with all these chairs?
Start a little business up here. Put some ads in the local papers. You wouldn't believe how much money some people are willing to spend on these things. You think they'd buy them down in Chicago?
Yeah.
Tomorrow's looking for me?
Mm-hmm.
These chairs here, kind of like me and Tamara. Different kinds of wood, different qualities. Some a little stubborn, some a little green. But you work them just right. A little give and take, you can fit them together, turn them into a wonderful thing.
Wow. It's beautiful. I don't know how to say this, and I'm not sure that there's a good way to say this, so this is how I'm gonna say it anyways. You're gonna be a father.
What?
Yeah, any minute now. And it would mean a whole lot to her if you could be there. I don't know if the baby's been born yet, but if you want to get there before it is, then we better go. Now.
Wait, I gotta get something.
Robert,
Yeah.
we just located Bert Ronis's car, parked in 2300 Stockton Drive in Lincoln Park.
Who's they? Traffic?
Well, let's just say they had a little help from the stolen car division.
Let's say. I'm on my way.
There was just a call for you, Mrs. Blackburn.
Which one?
Pamela.
Hey, can you hold up for a second, guys? I just need to take a look inside. Can you leave this car here for a minute? I mean, it's possible that the stolen car report on this vehicle was erroneous. Is there some place around here where people go to feed the birds? Thanks. Mr. Bronner.
Mr. Blackburn, your Pamela called me this morning. She's decided to file the complaint.
What does that mean?
You'll have to be charged. Under the circumstances, I don't think we're looking at any kind of a sentence. The judge will annul your second marriage because it was illegal in the first place, and then you'll have to begin divorce proceedings with Pamela. She also asked me to warn you that she's going to demand some pretty tough terms. After that, the two of you can do whatever you want.
We'll get married again. I'm sorry about how I reacted last night.
You have nothing to apologize for. I was the one.
No. I laid in bed all night thinking this through, Frank. And I just think you were thinking with your heart instead of your brain. Which is one of your biggest problems. But why I love you so much.
Am I under arrest?
It's not my call. It'll all be turned over to the state's attorney's office to determine what happens from this point. Good luck, Mr. Blackburn. Mrs. Blackburn?
I thought he looked just like Clark Gable. No, he looks just like Rick Bronis, furniture salesman from Chicago.
Is that you?
No, that's Angela Lansbury. This is me in the back. I had a small part in that play. And I got lucky and landed a contract at a big Hollywood studio. I left Bert behind, thinking I was going to become a big star. But it didn't work out. One day, I got on a train and came home. Bert met me at the station with 24 yellow roses. In his eyes, I was a star. And he treated me like one for 48 years. He bought this theater for me so I could be part of the world he thought I loved. But the world we created together is better than anything that's ever been on the silver screen.
Sounds like a wonderful man.
I guess he was just taking a little catnap on that bench when he died. Humphrey Bogart died in his sleep, too. Lauren Bacall lost him. He was only 58. I guess I was lucky. Bert and I had an extended run.
Where is she? Maybe she's having the baby.
I'll go check. Jake!
You feeling okay?
I am now. I'm so glad you're here.
Thanks to this lady here. We owe you a lot.
Oh, no, you don't owe me anything. Just seeing the two of you together is enough for me.
I brought a present for you and the baby.
Jake, it's beautiful. Oh!
What?
Oh, get a doctor now!
No. You stay with her.
Get it down.
I'll go get them.
Okay.
Doctor?
What? Shh. Easy.
Oh, man.
Breathe.
Can we come in?
This isn't something a sergeant gets to do too often. So I thought I had to come and do it personally. Thank you, Lieutenant McAuliffe.
You want to thank somebody, try the guy standing behind you over there and his two brothers. They're the ones who never stopped believing in you.
Hey, Dan. She's gonna be all right, man.
She wouldn't just play acting?
No, she's gonna be fine.
Missing persons manager. Hello, Constance.
Dan, tell everybody it's a girl, 7 pounds, 5 ounces.